At Quaker, we understand the paint finish on every window or door is essential to a quality, long-lasting product. When it comes to painted aluminum windows and doors, it's the attention to detail in our painting process that truly makes the Quaker difference. Let's go inside the factory and see how. In 2012, Quaker Windows and Doors moved their painting operations into this new 105,000 square foot powder painting facility. Quaker chose to use only powder-based paint on its aluminum products because of its superior consistency and durability over liquid paint. Utilizing state-of-the-art computer-controlled equipment, this facility paints all of the aluminum material utilized in Quaker's vast array of window and door products. Quaker's partnership with industry-leading suppliers of aluminum, cleaning solutions, and powder paint is one of the keys that enables Quaker to maintain their high-quality standards while offering the variety of color options necessary to meet our customers' needs. Meeting AMA performance standards is also an essential part of the Quaker difference. Now, Quaker chose not to offer lesser grades of powder coatings for its windows and doors, but only offer AMA 2604 and 2605 certified powder coatings for maximum performance and durability both indoors and outside. Every week, Quaker uses more than a ton of powder to cover nearly 80 tons of aluminum material that passes through the powder coating facility. Even with all that material being processed daily, it only represents a little over half of the total capacity of this facility. But as you're about to see, the Quaker difference isn't just about the facility, it's really about the process. The painting process begins with Quaker's racking system that travels through each step of the cleaning, painting, and curing process. Each rack is systematically cleaned and maintained to remove any paint buildup, as this is critical to ensure a proper metal-on-metal ground with every aluminum extrusion hung upon them. As each aluminum extrusion is being hung and put onto racks, they're done so on an angle. Now, this is done intentionally to support the cleaning and rinsing process so water and soap is easily washed away. Extra attention is spent making sure the rack is loaded and balanced properly to assure stability and an effective ground throughout the process. The reason that this is so important is because powder coating does not require a solvent to adhere to the metal as liquid paint does. Instead, powder coatings are applied electrostatically using charged particles and electric current to attract and bond powder to the metal, and then gelling and curing the paint under heat to allow it to flow and form evenly into all corners and bends of the rail, creating a hard shell coating on the aluminum. Material handlers will hang as much as 15 tons of material each day. Once loaded, it takes each rack about an hour and 45 minutes to travel through the state-of-the-art paint process. Before aluminum material can be painted, it must be properly cleaned and prepped. Now, what this requires is that all material to be painted pass through a 5-stage horizontal washer and pre-treatment system that'll both clean and prepare the material for the paint coating process. Stage 1 is the wash bay, where a special cleaning solution is used to remove all foreign materials such as dirt and oils from the surface and prepare the aluminum surface for further treatment. Once washed, the aluminum enters Stage 2, where the material passes through a rinsing chamber in order to remove any residual cleaning agents from the aluminum surface. Next, during Stage 3, an acid-based metal cleaner and oxide remover is used to continue the conditioning process of the aluminum surface. This solution, when applied, also etches the aluminum surface to enhance the bonding process when the powder coating is applied. Once this process is completed, it'll pass through a second rinse tank during Stage 4, and then it moves on to Stage 5. Now, in Stage 5, this is where a clear, chrome-free, non-phosphate liquid coating is applied to the aluminum, and that enhances the paint bonding process as well as adding an undercoating layer of protection to the aluminum surface. Every hour, a tech checks each stage of the cleaning and prepping process to ensure the proper mix of chemical solutions is balanced and applied properly to the material. Many visitors find this very interesting, that the water used throughout all 5 stages of cleaning and preparing is purified by going through a reverse osmosis water purification system in which water is forced through a semi-permeable membrane that removes up to 99% of tap water impurities. The result is water that's free of minerals and other contaminants that would affect the cleaning, prepping, or painting process. This water is then stored in a special tank under blue light to prevent any algae or bacterial growth. The water is also tested daily by the Quaker QC team to ensure purity and proper pH. After going through a drying oven, the cleaned and prepped aluminum is now ready to enter the powder coating process. Quaker uses powder coat paint not only because of the beautiful long-lasting finish it affords, but also because of its many green properties. Powder coat paint emits nearly 0 VOCs, which are solvents released into the air that have proven to be unhealthy to people and the environment. As the aluminum rails enter the paint booth, laser-controlled paint guns begin to spray the powder coating onto the treated rails. The powder coating system is computer-controlled with a unique recipe for each rail design that enters the booth to control how much powder is applied so as to maintain the consistent and proper mill thickness of powder as it passes through the coating booth. Once the material rack passes, the guns go dormant until the next rack arrives. The complete paint center utilizes an advanced air makeup system that equalizes the air pressure throughout the cleaning, painting, and curing process, which prevents dust and debris from getting caught up in the air and onto the aluminum traveling through the paint process. Another green element is the ability to reclaim and reuse powder that doesn't adhere to the material. It's collected at the bottom of the booth and then sent to a reclaim bin. Quaker's lost powder is very minimal, with over 90% of the overspray powder recycled back into the paint system. Now, as we mentioned before, Quaker maintains the highest standards using only AMA 2604 powder paint finish or an enhanced 2605 fluorocarbon powder paint finish on windows and doors, but that does not mean the color choices are limited. Quaker stocks a large selection of colors and can custom formulate virtually any color a customer may wish. With so many choices, changing colors in the paint booth is a normal occurrence. Paint process specialists change colors 13, 15 times a day, and they do it quickly, with each switch taking about 5 minutes. The system is purged and cleaned of the previously used color paint powder, and the new color formulation is set up and ready to go for the next batch. Waste is minimized as powder is reclaimed through the vacuum system during the spraying process, so only powder that is bonded with the aluminum rail ever leaves the paint booth. Waste is minimized as powder is reclaimed through a vacuum system during the spraying process, so only powder that has bonded with the aluminum rail ever leaves the paint booth. Reclaimed powder that maintains its electrostatic charge is actually heavier than powder that has begun to lose its charged particles critical to the bonding process. The heavier charged reusable powder drops into the collection chamber for recycling, while the lighter powder that will no longer hold an effective charge is then sucked away for disposal. Now, occasionally orders request a clear coat to be added atop the paint for a stronger, more durable finish. Unlike many other paint facilities, the material doesn't have to go around again for this second coat. When and if a clear coat is to be applied to the powdered aluminum, then it will first pass through a computer-controlled infrared oven that heats the powder into a gel that creates an even and consistent surface covering the aluminum rail. Each aluminum rail design has its own specific oven calibration temperature that's computer-controlled to ensure that a proper and consistent temperature is achieved and maintained across the complete surface of the rail to ensure proper gelling of the powder onto the aluminum. Once the optimal gel state is achieved, the rails proceed into the second powder coating chamber to apply the clear coat that will bond with the gelled paint. Now, painted material travels into a computer-calibrated high-temperature infrared oven to gel the powder, as discussed earlier, if only one coat is to be applied, or will expose the powdered rails to an IR heat boost to bring them back to full gel state if they have passed through the clear coat booth. Next, the rails travel into a computer-controlled convection oven to complete the curing process. This oven is also heat calibrated to the size and design of the aluminum rail and uses air to circulate around the substrate to maintain an even and consistent bake. It's here that the gel cures to create a hard coat finish that bonds with the aluminum. This process is essential because if the paint is overcured or undercured, then silicone used to seal the window may not adhere properly to the painted aluminum. Before reaching production, floor quality control will perform a series of pull tests on each run of painted aluminum before it's released for a production line to ensure that the paint has achieved optimal curing and that applied silicone will properly maintain adhesion. This again is critical to the long-lasting watertight windows or doors Quaker manufactures. Once the baking process is complete, the painted aluminum goes through a cooling or flash-off period to ensure that the paint is fully cured and dried before handling. This takes about 20 minutes depending on the size of the rail. We're almost done. The painted materials travel the last few yards cooling off before material handlers remove it from the racks and send it to its next destination. Approximately 75% of the material will be sent to Quaker's in-house thermal break department. The rest will be sent directly to production lines throughout Quaker's manufacturing facilities. Once fully cured and before it's released to manufacturing, a sampling of the newly painted aluminum parts go through 3 quality assurance testing phases in order to meet AMA 2604 and 2605 specifications. First, the mill thickness will be measured on each batch of the painted material. This guarantees a consistent and even coating of paint. Once the mill thickness is verified, a sample of the painted material is removed by quality control for additional testing before the product is actually released to manufacturing. First, a crosshatch adhesion test is done. A crosshatch pattern is cut into the test sample. Tape will then be applied to the scored area and rubbed with an eraser to make sure that it is firmly adhered upon the painted surface. The tape is then pulled away from the painted surface to ensure that the paint is effectively bonded to the aluminum surface and does not pull away. Next, the sample is placed in boiling water for an extended period of time. You see, to be classified as an approved AMA 2604 or 2605 fluorocarbon powder paint, no coating can have lost adhesion from the aluminum when it's pulled from the boiling water and inspected. The addition of this state-of-the-art plant, considered one of the premier painting facilities of its kind in North America, gives Quaker the ability to paint aluminum consistently, efficiently, and skillfully in any color you can imagine, thus giving Quaker customers the quality products they want and deserve. So when it comes to painted aluminum windows and doors, this is another great example of the Quaker difference.